Greetings to all of you. Eldrigu Namaskara. Today we are going to look into 8th question of liquidation of your company. Why company voluntarily decided to go into liquidation on 31/12/2018? On that date of the balance sheet of the company's position was as follows. Authorized capital 30,000 shares of rupees 10 each, 3 lakh. Paid up capital 19,500 shares of rupees 10 each, 1,95,000. Creditors, there are 3 types of creditors. Preferential creditor 24,200, partly secured creditor 55,310, and unsecured creditor 99,790. Therefore, total creditor is 179,300. Then we have BOD, is treated as unsecured itself. Bank overdraft is treated as unsecured 12,000. Goodwill, intangible assets. Premises means building. Machine, stock on hand, debtor, cash balance, PL. The liquidator's final statement of account, the liquidator realized the assets as follows. Premises cost in bracket as security by partly secured creditor 35,000, machinery 51,000, stock on hand 39,000, collection from debtors 58,500, expenses of liquidation amounted to ₹1,000. Liquidator remuneration was to be paid as follows. 2.5% on amount realized on sale of assets, 2% on amount finally paid to unsecured creditors including preferential creditors. Prepare liquidator's final statement of accounts. Let us look into the question more deeper. Why company voluntarily decided to go into liquidation? On 31/12/18, on that date, the balance sheet of the company's position was as follows. Authorized capital 30,000 shares of rupees 10 each, 30 lakh. Ignore, don't consider, leave it. Paid up capital 19,500 shares of rupees 10 each. We get 195,000. We treat this as equity share capital. Then we have creditors. We have preferential creditor 22,400. So preferential creditors are also called as unsecured creditors, but they get first priority, first preference in amount being paid. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಪಾವತಿ ಮಾಡೋ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅವರು ಅನ್ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟಾರೆ. Then we have partly secured creditor 55,310. ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಭಾಗ secured creditor, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಭಾಗ unsecured creditor. One part is secured creditor, another part is unsecured creditor. How much is secured creditor? 35,000. ಒಂದು ಭಾಗ secured ಅಂತ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. One part is a secured creditor clearly mentioned in the question. How much is secured creditor? 35,000. Out of 55,310, out of, I repeat back, out of 55,310, I repeat students, out of 35,310, 35,000 is secured creditor. Then remaining 20,310 is unsecured creditor. So out of 55,310, 35,000 is secured creditor. How you get 35,000? Point number A clearly mentioned premises cost as security by partly secured creditor 35,000. ಅಂದ್ರೆ premises ಅಂದ್ರೆ building ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಗಿರಿವಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಅಡಮಾನ. So we have pledged premises for 35,000. Then the cost of secured creditor will be 35,000. Out of 55,310, 35,000 is secured creditor. Remaining 20,310 is unsecured creditor. Please note in the book 20,310 is unsecured creditor. Another unsecured creditor 99,790. Another unsecured creditor 99,790. And then BOD is also treated as unsecured creditor 132,100. So total unsecured creditor is 132,100. So students, kindly note, total unsecured creditor is 1,32,100. How you get? Look at the liability side. We have partly secured creditor 55,310. In that 35,000 is secured creditor given here in point number A. Then remaining unsecured creditor is 20,310 plus unsecured creditor 99,790 plus BOD 12,000. If you add 20,310, 99,790 and 12,000, total unsecured creditor is 132,100. Preferential creditor is 24,200. Then secured creditor will be 35,000. Asset side we have goodwill. Don't take goodwill, ignore intangible asset. Premises means building, stock and machinery, debtor, cash. PL account ignore, don't take. PL account given in asset side is a loss, ignore. We are not supposed to take intangible asset and fictitious assets. The liquidator realized the assets as follows. Premises realized at 35,000, which is taken as a pledge, mortgage by secured creditor. So premises realized is 35,000. Then machinery sold 51,000. Stock and hand sold 39,000. Debtors realized collected 58,500. So totally we have realized 4 assets: premises, machinery, stock, debtor. Expenditure of liquidation goes like this. So liquidation expenses is 1,000 rupees. The liquidator remuneration is calculated as follows. So liquidator remuneration is 2.5% on assets realized. Asti ಮಾರಾಟದ ಮೇಲೆ 2.5%. ಮತ್ತೆ unsecured creditor ಮೇಲೆ 2%. So calculate 2% on unsecured creditor including preferential creditor. Means preferential creditor ಮೇಲೇನೂ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಿ, unsecured creditor ಮೇಲೇನೂ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಿ. So let us look how this question needs to be solved. Liquidator final statement of accounts. We have cash given in the question 2,500 to be taken separate because cash is not taken to calculate remuneration. Premises realized 35,000. Machinery 51,000. Stock 39,000. Debtor 58,500. Total we get 1,83,500. So these are the 4 assets realized. Total assets realized is 1,83,500. Then we have secured creditor 35,000 because premises is based as security to secured creditor. Liquidation expenses 1,000. Liquidator remuneration is calculated on 3. On assets 2.5%. On preferential creditor 2%. On unsecured creditor 2%. On assets 1,83,500. 1,83,500 into 2.5%. We get 4,588. 4,588. On preferential creditor in the question is 24,200 into 2%, we get 484. On unsecured creditor, keep it pending. ತಾತ್ಕಾಲಿಕವಾಗಿ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸಾಲ ಕೊಡುವಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. Let us check whether you can pay the amount in full or not to be paid in full. So this 2367 calculation we will see afterwards. After remuneration you need to pay debenture. In our question we don't have debenture. And then we need to pay preferential creditor 24,200. Now check how much cash you have. ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ನೋಡೋಣ. Receipt side cash 2,500. Realized asset is 183,500. Total we get 1,86,000. So much of cash is available with us. Secured creditor it's 35,000. Liquidation expenses it's 1,000. And remuneration on assets is 4,588. On preferential creditor is 484. And then preferential creditor is 24,200. We have cash with us 1,20,728. We have cash in hand 127,28. Whereas total unsecured creditor is 132,100. Do you have sufficient money to pay? No. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಇದೆಯಾ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಅನ್ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟಾರ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಅನ್ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟಾರ್ ಬಂದು 132,100, 1,32,100. ಆದರೆ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ನಗದು 127,28. So we don't have sufficient amount to pay full unsecured creditor. So what you should do? Divide by 102 ತಗೋಬೇಕು. Sufficient amount ಇದ್ರೆ divide by 100. Sufficient amount ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ divide by 102. So 1,20,728 divided by 102 into 2, we get 2,367. Then total remuneration is 7,439. Then amount payable to unsecured creditor will be 1,18,361. How do you get? Receipt side cash 2,500, amount realized 183,500, total cash is 1,86,000, minus secured creditor 35,000, minus liquidation expenses 1,000, minus liquidator remuneration 7,439, minus preferential creditor 24,200. So remaining balance cash paid to unsecured creditor will be 1,18,361. In place of 132,100, we just pay 1,18,361. If you divide this amount, you get 89 paisa in a rupee. I repeat, you pay 89 paisa in a rupee. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋಂತ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಸಾಲ 1,18,361. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು? 1,32,100. ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 1 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡೋ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು 89 ಪೈಸಾ.